Alright everybody, welcome back to some more live coding. Tonight's gonna be a work night. Well, what I mean is we're going to work on this bug bounty browser extension. So, I'm not particularly trying to demonstrate or show anything in particular, but we're going to continue from a stream we did the other night where we talked about making cross-browser extensions. So here it is. The other night we did it about a week ago, making web browser extensions. Okay, so we made a repository called Bug Bounty Browser Extension, and that's what I'm working off of. This is what we left with last time. And so we got it started, and it didn't do a whole lot, but what it did do is start to do some of these features on the left. So over here I've written down the agenda, and we're going to continue working on the Bug Bounty Browser Extension tool. And these are the three features that I kind of wanted to sort out. And these are the same ones that we started, and we got them kind of working. Like the links were being output into the console, and the query parameters were being output somewhere, but it's time to kind of clean it up and actually make this into something a little bit more useful. So, yeah, I'm glad I left these notes here. Yeah, thanks, Spudley. I just realized I had it in staging mode or whatever. Okay. WebExt run. I forgot we could do that. So I already have it open here in WebStorm, and I want to get it running, so I'm just going to try that WebExt run. That's right. So what this is going to do is load up a Firefox that's in a unique profile that has no bookmarks, no other extensions, or anything like that. Just a plain old browser. And so what you can see is up in the top right, there's this little dev dungeon looking icon. And when you click it, it pops open an HTML page, and it prints out some information about it. If you also load up the console, and I'm going to refresh the page. So if you click on the button in the top right, then it triggers a bunch of stuff that gets printed out in the console, like the scripts that it found, and links it found, and things like that. So we kind of want to consolidate that and get all this information on the page so it's nice and viewable. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to open VS Code. I'm going to work out of WebStorm for this one. And now that the WebExt is running, the extension will reload if any changes change. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that and just let it run. And let's work on, I guess first, let's just try and get this stuff in the data that we're already getting. Let's sort it out and get it printing out in the right place. So there's a couple parts to this plugin. So there's the index.html, and that is the page that gets output here. And these bootstrap styles I have, those are Bootstrap 3. They're kind of old anyway, and I'm not using them yet. So I am just going to ditch it. I'm going to get rid of Bootstrap and jQuery. I don't think I'm using jQuery. npm.js. This file was generated automatically? I don't think I need that. I hope I don't need it because it's going away. Vladimir says, please consider having a 30-minute warning for live streams. I always miss the start. You know, one thing about the stream is that they only let you set the notifications in 30-minute increments. So if I'm less than 30 minutes, I basically have to schedule it an hour in advance. And I don't plan that well. Spudley says maybe earlier streams too. Well, yeah, that's a subjective thing for everybody. But I do them pretty late. I agree. So, let's see. The index page. Okay, I took out the styles, so now it should just... Oops, wrong button. Yeah, now it looks, well, uglier, but that's okay. It's just plain old HTML. So, we've got a section for the scripts, a section for the query parameters, a section for the links, and a section for the comments. So, okay, let's get rid of these because I don't need these either. But we will keep our global JS and global CSS. Okay, so we're already getting some of these pieces. So let's try and just get them on the page. Where are they coming from? Console.log scripts. Yeah, here's all the scripts. Find all scripts, and then this one is find all the links. Okay. Oh, that's right. So we have to use... And you know, I was having some issues with some of the Chrome things, so I'm actually not even going to bother supporting Chrome here because it's the one that, like, just you have to go around corners to make it work, whereas Firefox would work with the Chrome one, but I'm going Firefox. Actually, the browser will work in, I think, Edge and Safari too. No, I think Edge is its own. This should work in Safari or Opera. Is Opera still a thing? I don't. Maybe it's probably not. Okay, so we got all the scripts. Browser runtime send message. Browser runtime send message. So I want to not do it to the console anymore. Now what I'm sending the messages up to the global JS. Yeah, so here we have browser runtime on message. We do something with it. Well, in this case, all I'm doing is logging it out. So this one, for example, I am actually taking it. So let's try putting it here. So we're going to get the message, and all the messages are going to look the same. I'm just getting a message, and I don't even know what it is. So I wonder if I can make an object and send an object. Can I say links? Or I guess this would just be a link, right? Because I'm sending many links, but this is just one link. And actually, I probably don't want to send... Here, this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to JSONify it. I'm going to try it real quick, but I don't think that's going to work because it's going to say... I'm trying to send a string, but... Well, let's see. Browser runtime send message. Does it let you send an object, or does it have to be a string? Browser runtime message, extension ID, aha! That's what I want. this way. Oh, no, that's actually the extension name. Any optional object. Okay, so you can put options at the end. So then I can say, like, type equals link. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is aggregate all of the links, and then I'm going to send it all as one message. And it's going to be the message, which is going to be the string, and then the options object is going to say type link, and then I can check the type on the other side. And if I need to send the type because all of the messages look the same when they come back, so I won't know whether I need to use that message and put it in the link category or put it in the scripts category. And it's because we have to do this weird communication. You can't access the page contents directly. That's why we have to process it and then send a message back to the extension. But I think... See, what I don't understand is it says optional is omitted. So okay, so I guess I do have to send a null. Is it null or is it nil in JavaScript? It's been a while. Null? Okay. So then, yeah, there'll be no extension ID. Here's the message, here's the options. And if we do Control P, oh, I guess I can't find a reference. It's okay. Okay, well, I guess it's going to be links, because it's going to be all the links, technically. And so I'm going to say links message. This is just going to be an empty string to start. And then we'll do links message dot, I guess, can we do a plus equal in JavaScript with strings? It doesn't look like it's complaining. Plus equals a link plus a BR. I should make them list items, I guess. So why not? I can make it a list item. Okay, we'll see how that works out, and then we'll send it. We're sending links message. So let's try that. I'm just going to comment this one out for now. And it should reload automatically. So if we look in the terminal, we can see, yeah, last reloaded. We can even force it with an R. So that's nice. Okay, so now we're gonna send a message of type links, but on the other side we need to catch it. So let's see here. We've got request. No, this isn't. The request dot, is it just the text itself? So there's got to be options attached to it. Yeah, it says this one is deprecated too. So why don't I just try, I will console log the request just to make sure I understand what it is. So let's go back, pop it open. Yeah, so now it's not even triggering the on message. So let me try this again, and I'm just going to send one with no options, but also with the null. Let's see if that one goes through. No, that one's not either. So what if... No, is that one going to go through? No, something's not right. I still have some broken... I still have a broken link or something. Oh no, those are actually Dev Dungeon errors, not my plugin. So what's going on? These were working. Let's see, like this one was working, I think. No, maybe not. Console log request. Triggered. So this is something we did have working a minute ago. So I broke something. And you know what? You know what it might have been? No, I don't think I'm using any jQuery anywhere, so... Let's see. Oh yeah, I am. I was using jQuery. I'm using that question mark there, so... Let me just use a jQuery from the CDN and just grab the latest one. Okay, let me just add that to the page. And I guess you still put it at the bottom. Is that still the practice? Okay, now is that enough to fix it? No, do I need to do... Do I need to do anything else to import jQuery? I forget. So you just include it. You don't have to do like... Okay, yeah, so that's it. Now, I guess we can at least say running. At least verify it's running. So it should only run on Dev Dungeon right now. Okay, it's... Now is it logging... It's logging in the other console, I bet, is what's happening. Debug. Okay. Could not read Chrome manifest. Load failed for the script with source. Oh, content security policy. Okay, let's... can I just... I can undelete it. Yeah, check this out. We'll do git checkout -f JS. Oh, I guess I committed the delete of jQuery. Alright, let's download it real quick. Download, there we go. Alright, let's save it into Bug Bounty Buddy JS. Alright, now we've got our local jQuery. jQuery 331 min.js. Okay. We lost our special browser. Here we go. Let's get it back. Alright, pop open the console. And now if we pop it open, there we go. Now we can actually see the message is being passed. And I reverted all the JS changes that I made, at least to this global JS, where we're actually listening for it. So we should be logging it in the plugin console here. So now We load it again. There we go. Now we can see all of the logging being done in the other console. This is the console for the browser plugin instead of the page. And that's where this gets executed. So we got query params. Yeah, that's the one that's being populated here where it says query params. Okay, so we're getting our messages passed again. Shouldn't have deleted the jQuery because I'm using it up here. That $sign up there, that's a J. I could just have switched it to just be Word or document.onReady or something, but this is fine. Okay, what am I doing here? I don't need the options. I don't need jQuery open. I've got these 3 files. That's pretty much all I need. And it's really about process page and global.js. That's basically like the front end and the back end quote. So process page is the one that should be sending messages up to here, which should be logging them here. Now, why am I getting so many log messages? This is for every one of those. Yeah, let me turn off the messages there. Try it again. There we go. Now we're getting one of them. The hello one. So it's interesting that this isn't working the way I was thinking it would. So let's try it one more time. Yeah, the only one that's coming through is this one. So what if we tried just sending an empty options object with it? Now that one worked. Now what if we actually tried to pass it some actual values? Will it still work? No, what is la process? JS has a problem. Interesting, what is this problem? Clear. Now if I take that out and go back, it works fine. But if I pop it open a second time, read declaration. Oh, so it's actually going to... It's complaining because it creates it the first time through, and then it tries to run the whole script again? Hey, it's Mr. KZ. Love the live troubleshooting. So in the yeah, it's more like, why do people watch me just sit here and flail around in JavaScript? So if I do var, that's not going to make any difference, will it? It's still going to complain about a redeclaration. Oh no, actually it let me. So var versus let, it actually doesn't complain if you do it again. And it does get the message more than once. Okay, so let me try this again now with options. Hey, but Kyle, it's good to see you here, man. Welcome. And so type links. Okay. Now, does it still work at least? No, could not establish connection. Okay, so now I feel like it's because it's doing 2 parameters, it assumes that... Now, hold on a second. The method signature was so weird. How do you have an optional... Oh no. See, it thinks it's actually... Okay, so Mozilla, if you do browser send message, you've got an optional element at the beginning. Message options. Optional. Okay, so I understand an optional one at the end. And message can be, oh, any type. Any type? Really? So I can pass it an object. Okay, hold on a second. message hello. Type is links. Well, kind of. It's a hello message, but whatever. You know what I mean. Now, oh, you can. Okay, so that answers my very original question, which was, can I send it an object? And the answer is yes. All right. Browser runtime send message. Okay, so now actually what I want to send is, technically, I guess I'm just going to send them the HTML, and it's going to be links message. Type links. So now when I get this on the other side, I can say if it's going to be request dot, it's going to be the object, so the object will be request dot type. If request dot type is a three equals links, then we will update the links page, or the links element rather. So it's going to be document get element by ID, and the ID we want is links. That's the name of this ID here that we want to fill out. We want to dump the HTML into that div. And it's not content, it's actually the HTML we're giving it. So we have to tell it that we're giving it HTML and not text, so that it renders it properly. And that's going to be the actual HTML, so it's going to be request.html. Alright, moment of truth. Will this actually show us what we want in the page? Alright. It did look, it found all those links. So, interesting. It actually saved the whole HTML of the link, I think. So actually what I want to send back is not the whole HTML of the link, but links, yeah, here we go, links get attribute href, and the text, the inner text. That way we have like the title and the link. And this is going to be links, yeah, links i.innerHTML. Okay, so now let's refresh it and try it again. There we go. Now we can see where it says links found. It's this one looks, that's funny. It's just like a logo with a oops, this shouldn't be here kind of face. But okay, so that one's interesting because the text is still showing the image. But that's okay. The other ones show up pretty good. So you see, like, that's the name of the link, what's inside the href, or inside the anchor tag, and then the actual href, so you can see where they're linking off to. And why don't we make that a little bit more viewable? So, look, oh man, this string is getting ugly. Is there a way you can do like a printf statement in JavaScript? That would be much cleaner. Printf equivalent. Printf equivalent in Python, C++, MATLAB, Java. There it is, JavaScript. Do they have one? In ES6, you can do this. Oh, that's right. You can do the backticks. Okay, so let me try and reformat this with some backticks. And we're gonna do li and then a variable of links i.innerHTML, and then close that, and then a colon, and then we want to do a span. And why don't we just we'll just do a hard-coded style right now, color blue. That way the link actually stands out a little bit like a link, and then here we'll actually print out the link attribute for the href. And then at the end, we will close the li and close our string. Okay, now let's... It automatically refreshes, so let's just see how it looks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control-Shift... No, wrong one. Control-Alt-Shift down? Yeah, there we go. Now I can slide between these two desktops It'll be a little easier than switching the windows constantly. Alright. Pop it open. There we go, so we can see our debug statement is still being output there. And now our links, they're not actually links. We could make them links, but for this purpose right now, I'm not going to. And so, you know, we should clean this up and maybe put it in a scrollable div, and maybe even put it in a table or something. But for now, the information is there. So let's see if... Okay, it does work on all pages. So now look, we're just running it on this Mozilla developer site, and we can see, okay, links found. And it lists all the links that it found. And we can see kind of which ones are on-site, which ones are off-site. Just look around and maybe see if there's anything interesting. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that one for now. Maybe I'll come back to this in a little bit and style it better. Actually, I want to style it now because that's really bothering me. Let's throw it in a table instead of an unordered list. Oh, and I never... let's see. So, in here, I actually never wrapped it in a UL. So what I should have done is actually something like this, because what I'm getting is the list of list items. So there we go. Now they actually have bullet points, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to change it to be a table. So we're actually just going to wrap it in a table, and then on this side each one of these is going to be a table row instead of an LI. And each cell, let's see, the first cell is going to be the name, and then the second one is going to be the URL. Okay, so let's try that out. Oh, there's no borders or anything, so... But that is a little bit cleaner. That does, even though it's super long... Oh, look at those. Yeah, so I need to figure out why those are still sending HTML. Oh, you know why? It's because it might actually be a font icon. That might be an image, I don't know. What does it say in here? Oh, it's so long. There's too many. So yeah, is it actually an image, or what's going on down here? It's an SVG? Yeah, it's actually an SVG inside of the link text or something. Something weird's going on. But that's okay. I'm not going to worry about trying to debug that right now. I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to say, okay, links found. We're going to kind of call that done. We could style it better, but at least we have it. We have the data, and we can get it on any page we want. So we can just, boop, check it out. What's going on this page? Anything interesting? And you know what we should do? We should make this whole section collapsible. This whole thing should be collapsible, so I can click it and open it and expand it. I think I can do that pretty easily with jQuery. Do I need jQuery UI? No, this is some kind of plugin. Toggle. I guess toggle would work. It would just kind of turn it on and off. Okay, so links found. That's actually going to be an A, right? And can we do that? Can we do like an A on click equals toggle? No, this is not how I would do it. This is not how you're supposed to do it. Dot toggle. So I guess I'm supposed to get the element and then call dot toggle. So we'll just give it a function. We'll say can we do this? Can we say toggle links? Just like that? Well, let me give it single quotes. No, not single quotes, triple wrapped in double quotes. Links. So on the other side, on global.js, I want to have a function called toggle. That's going to be the class name. And then I'll say what I want is dot class name. This is probably terrible JavaScript practice, so don't do anything I'm doing at home, kids. Class name dot toggle. Oh no, unresolved. I think it should work though. Okay, is everything gonna break, or is it just gonna work? No. Well, it's not even. The script page blocked loading. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's an A, and the ID is links toggle. Why don't we call it link toggle? Link toggler. That's what it is. It's the link toggler. Spudley says, if I knew JavaScript, maybe I would be disgusted. Well, I'm glad there's nobody here to call me out, but I'm also sad that there's nobody here to tell me how I should be doing it. So links toggler. Now what I want to do here is say document.get element by ID, and I'm not even using the jQuery that I added now. I need to get rid of it, honestly. So I want to get the links toggler, and then can I use the jQuery on it and call it .toggle? No, I want add event listener, actually. Add event listener for the click, and then what I want to do is something, and what I want to do is toggle it, this .toggle. Okay, now will that do it? No. Document.getElements by ID is not a function? Okay, it's because it's getElement by ID. Now let's go back up. Do the clicky. Oh, this .toggle is not a function. Okay, I think I do need to do jQuery. I'm gonna try. Even though I thought I just tried this and it didn't work. But if I do this, yeah, okay. I'm gonna try one more time with that jQuery selector. And actually I want the dot there. It needs, or the hash, right? Hash is ID, dot is class. So add event listener is not a function for a dot. Okay, let's go back to this then, and it's not toggle, but there's a visibility flag we can set. JavaScript, toggle, visibility. I think it's, visibility equals hidden, and visibility display, no. However, the difference is that if you set display none, it hides the entire element, whereas visibility hidden means the content of the element will be invisible, but the element stays in its original position and size. Okay, so actually what we want is display none. Collapse. Interesting. Yeah, document get element style display equals none. Oh yeah, here we go. If visibility, yeah, that's what I want right there. So let me uncomment this and get it back. And it's not toggle, we'll just say we can operate on this since we are, and it's, wait. style.display equals none. That's what I want. I want display equals none. Otherwise, what is it? Display equals block. What's the opposite of none? CSS display none and CSS display. I think I want block. Okay, yeah, so it's inline block and hidden, or none rather. Otherwise, it is a div, so it's a block element. Otherwise, we'll set it to none. None. And we're updating the display, not the visibility. Let's go back. Try it out. Oh, close. This dot style is undefined. Okay, why don't let me try something. There, toggler. Toggler, and just to be extra explicit, because I think I messed up my callback there. But this should be okay. There. Oh, it hid the heading. Okay, that's a quick fix. We've got the button callback finally working. It's not the links toggler that we want to get. It's actually the links we want to get, or rather. Oh, good. Okay, so we want to add the callback listener to the toggler, but what we actually want to change is the links div. Okay, so then we're gonna get that one, and the ID for that one is links, and that's the one that we're actually going to toggle. We don't want to toggle the toggler. We want the toggler to toggle the div. It's so intuitive. Alright, toggle that stuff. Look at that. There we go. That's awesome. Cool. Now, I want to do one more thing. Let's see, document on ready. I want to get rid of the jQuery, since I'm not even using it. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it in. Excuse me. So where were we? I wanted to... Oh, it's because there's so many now. Okay, so the links are hiding and showing. Cool. Later on, we can add like an arrow that shows you whether it's open or not. NullPixel says, every time I write JavaScript, I just throw a ton of random things together until it works. Hey man, what do you see me every night? That's pretty much all I do every night. It doesn't get better. Okay. Now, where were we? We got the links and we got the query parameters, so now we can start repeating some of this stuff we did for these other things. So on the process page, we actually did find all the scripts, right? So what we'll do is the same thing. We'll aggregate all of the scripts we find into a table. And I want to make one quick change to this table. Style equals border 1px. I think that should add a border, right? No, I'll have to do like cell border or something. Whatever, I'll leave that alone for now. But we got the scripts, so we want to say, we'll do the same thing. We'll start with the scripts message, or I guess we can call it HTML, since that's really what it is. And we'll just start it with a blank text. Kyle says, jQuery is king for a reason. It was. I think now, if you tell someone you're still using jQuery, they look at you like that's totally taboo. You're not supposed to use jQuery anymore. It's so slow. It's so slow and outdated. That's what they say. But it's okay. I've been using Angular, actually. I tried out React and learned it. And I tried out Angular, and I think Angular is a better fit for my front end needs, and I've been digging into it and using it some more, and I like it. I don't want to try and introduce Angular into the browser plugin because that's going to add some unnecessary complexity. But this is okay for now. Okay, so basically we want to get, the script, the attribute for the source, and or the HTML. Because sometimes the scripts are provided in the HTML, like in between the script tags, and sometimes the script is just a link with a source linking off to something else. So let's do this. If there is... No, let's just handle the case with both. So we want something, again, like a table with a row, and then this is going to be one cell with the source or the HTML, or we could say and the HTML. So maybe we can do source and then do another one and do HTML and just print it out like that, and that way we get all the information we need. So it'll look something like that, and the table's going to be handled elsewhere. Now we can do this, and the tip of the day the other day was Control-Shift-J. Control-Shift-J will delete all the space between the next line. Let's see. Okay, so now I want to put all of this in backticks, and I want to interpolate the variables. Here's another one. So we wrap it in the little variable wrapper. Okay, so then we can say scripts HTML plus equals another table row. I know, it's so... This is where I probably should be using React. React would be like a nice little fit here because it is just a little lightweight piece, but honestly it's kind of nasty too. It gives me PTSD and reminds me of the Drupal days where you had your plugins returning chunks of HTML from PHP functions. That's basically what React is doing. It returns HTML from the functions. Okay. I think we're good there. So actually what I want to send here is just scripts HTML. I actually want to send is HTML is the scripts HTML, and the type is scripts. And then back here I want to listen and say, okay, if the request is type scripts, then we want to update the scripts table, the scripts element. Perfect. So now, and also let's do the same thing here where we should make that, this is going to be some code repetition. I'm going to have to figure out the best way to dry this out because you don't want to repeat yourself. This is going to be the scripts toggle. This is going to be the links toggler. Yeah, so I guess because all I'm doing is adding the event listener, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to what I had before where it was just toggler, and this is now going to be a variable, and that's going to be the toggler ID. So we're going to say function takes toggler ID and the div ID that you want to toggle. And then what we're going to do is put that in there. There's the toggler ID, and then the div ID is going to be this one here. And now that it doesn't like... Oh, we need to give it a name, I guess. Add toggle trigger. Okay, so now we have this function called add toggle trigger. And then we can just say add toggle trigger for links toggler on the links one, and then do the same thing for the scripts toggler. scripts. Then we can get rid of this whole second one. So there. Now we avoided repeating ourselves. And we can do the same thing for... What else did we have here? Query params and comments. We'll call it the query toggler. And what was the HTML div for that? Query params. And the last one was comments. And so we need to do the same thing here with the link, where we actually wrap these. So this is going to be the comments toggler. And this one's going to be the query toggler. This one's going to be the, you guessed it, the scripts toggler. Okay, so now we go back. These should be good. And I think if we just test out this, toggler is null. Uh-oh. Which one's failing? Links toggler, scripts toggler, query toggler, comments toggler. Oh, there's a typo. Oh, Mr. Tony asks, ever heard of pwn to own? You should think of competing. No, I haven't heard of that one in particular. And Bulky says use Vue. So Vue is the last one on my list of front-end frameworks that I want to try. I wanted to give it a shot. I dove into React and React Native. Made a mobile app. Angular. Haven't tried out Vue yet though. Okay, so now if I go back, will these work? Yeah, awesome. Now all of them are open by default, so we could change that behavior. But now we can say, okay, links found, tell me more about the links that are on this site. So you can quickly learn, like, okay, what is this site about? And then we've got the query parameters. That one actually needs to be fixed. Okay, and here's the scripts. And so the scripts is nice because now you can see, okay, it had a source, so it's just script source and it's just linking off to somewhere else, or if it actually had inline, like a on the page script. Cool. So again, that could be cleaned up and the UI could be made way better. But our data's there, which is cool. So it's a starting place. Now, query parameters in particular are useful for looking for SQL injection and local file inclusions, remote file inclusions, redirects, unprotected redirects. There's lots of reasons you'd be interested in the query parameters. Okay, so we did the scripts too. And actually, we also added a toggleable... I'm going to go with spelling like that. The toggleable divs. Okay. Back to the process page. Let's see. Okay. So we've got all the scripts. We got all the links. Now we actually need the query parameters too, right? Now, does that one have to go? Let's see what this link is. Uh-oh. Oh, you truly don't need jQuery. Well, you don't. I mean, I was just thinking, like, if you look here, document.getElementsByTagName. Okay, so right there, we're able to grab an array of things by tag name. And we can do the document get element by ID. I guess you don't get the nice where you can just do like dot this, hash that, angle bracket that. There it is, function doc ready. Oh yeah, that's how they're doing it. Well, yeah, I mean, that's really all jQuery did in the beginning. I mean, it's like saying you don't really need Angular because you got Vanilla.js. Well, I mean, yes, you can do it all in Vanilla.js, but the whole idea was that they made it much easier. So it's not really that amazing that they can point out that you can do it in regular JavaScript because jQuery is written in regular JavaScript, so it's like, obviously that's possible. I'm with you. I don't have any problems with jQuery. I don't have any hate for it. But the query parameters. So JavaScript Parse URL. This is what I think I had some trouble with this one last time. Okay, so we're gonna say this is listen for messages from the process page.js that passes back information about the HTML page being viewed since the plugin doesn't have direct access. At least this page doesn't, since this portion of the extension doesn't have access to the page. Yep, okay, and then we tell it go ahead and execute the background script. Yeah, okay, so this is where I was trying to grab the query parameters. I was doing this on the global JS as part of the HTML page. And so we want the comments. No, I'm sorry. We want the query params. And so it is finding something and it's updating it here. Okay, so what this is actually doing is going through every single one of the tabs. I don't want it to go through all of the tabs. I only want it to go through the tab that we are looking at. And so this process page will do that. But I wonder how we get URL, document URI. Why don't we just confirm what the make sure, is that the whole full URL? Oh no, it closed. WebEx run. Let's bring you back up here. Let's pop open the debug window again. Here. So we can have our console for the extension and the console for our page. And then we're gonna go, why don't we go back to Dev Dungeon. Tony asks, what are your thoughts on using Python for browser extension? Well, as far as I know, you can't. Unless you use some kind of Python to JavaScript transpiler. I don't think you can write Python browser extensions. I'm not aware of a method for doing that. Create a Chrome plugin with Python. HTML. Adding Python to the Chrome extension. Okay, yeah, they are essentially using a transpiler. Compile Python to JavaScript. Yeah. So they're essentially using a Python interpreter written in JavaScript, which it's got to be even slower than jQuery. So I wouldn't do it. I would use JavaScript or TypeScript. I just didn't want to introduce TypeScript into my workflow here. That's why I didn't add it. Okay, so query parameters. Wait, I need the console log. Where's the console log? There it is. Okay, so that's the full URL. Let's get maybe some query parameters and a fragment. And pop it open. There we go. Yeah, so the document URL is the full-on, full-fledged scheme, host, fragment, all that good stuff. So here we're going to say extract query parameters. I guess we could... How do we get the current tab? Browser dot tabs. Is there like a current tab? Current tab? Active? Interesting. Okay, so... Well, whatever. We'll just do it all back here. We're doing this one down here. It's okay. Console.log document URL. So what I want to do is actually parse the URL. And there should be a function here. Ooh, look how big that screen is. Usage. URL is used to parse, construct, and normalize. No, I want URL parse. I want the opposite. Parsing URLs in JavaScript? What does this guy think? Parser? Parser equals create. Hold on. No. Is there a built-in function to JavaScript to do this? Oh. They're creating an anchor. They're creating an anchor tag, and then setting the URL as the href, and then pulling it all out of the A because the A automatically splits it up. So where's the query parameters? Hold on. Yeah, which one was the query parameter? Query parameter is params. Oh, they're actually doing a search and a replace. They're actually doing the string parsing themselves. So is there really not a way to parse JavaScript built into JavaScript? And then how would I get... So my question, I guess, maybe... Does anybody out there know if I wanted to use an NPM package in my thing here, how would I do that? So I've heard of Browserify, but I've never used it, and I think this is where I need to use it. Browserify lets you require your modules in the browser. So, all right, let's give you a shot. Browserify. I mean, how could I not with this? Look how uber elite this Gosu wizard is. That's like the most baller fireball I've ever seen. Alright. Bundle up your first module. Browsers don't have the require method, but Node does. Browserify. Interesting. So you just write it like a Node.js file. This feels so sketch. I don't want to... Okay. So do I do Browserify just to get the URL parse function, or do I just do some string matching myself? I guess technically, a valid URL has to have the query at the end before the fragment. So it's basically, there has to be a question mark, and it has to be before the hash. But the problem is, some people form their things actually incorrectly. And so if you say like x equals 10, it should be and y equals 20. But sometimes they form things bad and they add, you know, question z equals 10, question q equals 4 or whatever. So because what I wanted to do was actually parse all of the URLs on the page. Not just the URL of the document, but like up here where we parse all the links, actually also inspect the link and see for query parameters. And if it has any query parameters, then we're going to basically take the query params message plus equals another query parameter, and then we'll say like plus the whole href. Yeah, why not? We'll just tack on the whole href. Make like a table row. So it'll be something like that. So we'll parse all the links as we're parsing them normally to look for links, but then we'll also say look for query parameters, and at the very top we can say from the page URL itself. So we'll pull the query parameters from the first one, and then that will be the query params message. We'll start by putting, we'll say something like page query params equals extract query params from the URL, and we'll start by passing it in this one. And then like if there's any page query params, then we will add it to the message. Plus equals be what? A table row with a table cell with the URL itself and then the query parameters. So it looks something like that. So let's see. Hey Tony, I'm curious, Tony, you asked about using Python for browser extension. Is there any reason you ask about that? Is it something you've tried? I wouldn't particularly recommend it. You know, generally I'd say try to use the native language for whatever you're doing. If you want to write an Android app, try and do it in Java or Kotlin. If you want to write a browser extension or a web front end, do it in JavaScript. You know, people spend so much time and they build so many frameworks just so they can like make an Android app in Python. But when they build a library that lets you write an Android app in Python, it's gimped. It's like it doesn't have all of the features and it doesn't look native, and the best you can do is just get a raw screen and start drawing yourself, which is how Kivy works. So it's like you go through all this trouble to do it a roundabout way just to get a lesser set of features that run slower because you didn't want to use the language. But I can see certain use cases for it. I'm not totally hating on them, but that's generally how I feel. Okay, so we got all the scripts and we're sending them back. We got all the links and we're sending them back. The query parameters could still use a little work. And actually, when we're done here, I'm going to leave this as some comment pseudocode for now, but so once we get that one too, we'll also say query params message, and that is going to be of type params queries. What did I say over here? Oh, I guess I didn't add a listener for it yet, but I can. So there's links, there's scripts, and then there's going to be, we'll call it query params. And on the index.html, the ID is query params. And then we're just going to fill it out like that. So that should be good. So why don't we just say, for now, we'll just say NA, and we'll leave this one, oh, what did I say? What's the type? Query params. So we'll have it wired up, even though it's not actually sending really any useful data. So why don't we leave this to do extract query params, and down here too to do. So those need to be finished wired up so that we get the query parameters. But for now, we can make sure that the message is working. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted WebEx run. And then I wanted to go to a web page. This is interesting because this is it's like a totally blank browser, but it still has some suggestions, even though it's like got no profile. Okay, so pop it open, and we've got, yeah, there we go. So we can see that the query parameters is at least being passed, and we've got our ability to hide and show all these sections. So we're making progress. Before, this data was all being jumbled around in the console. So now we've at least got something that has a semblance of usability and like benefit. Now, it's still hideous, don't get me wrong, and it still needs a lot of work, but this is the process. And I'm no front-end designer. I'm really not. This is called developer design. So let's see. We wanted to extract the query parameters. So we're not done with that. I still want to do that. And that's going to be my last goal for tonight. So basically we need a function here called extract query parameters. So let's create a function, and it's going to take a URL as a parameter. And I guess, should I just pass it back as a string? Should I pass it back as an object? Let's see. I'm just going to grab JavaScript Parse URL. Search params? URL.searchParams. Yeah, that's what I want. Parse int? No. New URL. Oh, okay, I can do this. Hey, D and CAG just subscribed. Thank you. Welcome. All you other people should subscribe too. Check out these daily live streams. Okay, so you can just create a URL out of it. Okay. I was having a big old brain lapse. So now we just want a new URL from, in this case, it's going to be from whatever URL we pass it. And then we just want the search parameters? Is it really that easy? Well, I guess we'll find out. So otherwise, I guess it'll come back null. Why don't we just add it anyway and see if there's some nans and nulls in there, we'll get rid of them. Query parameters. Okay, let's put this in backticks. Let's interpolate these variables. I guess there's only one. No, we need the query parameters too. So that's going to be the whatever we returned. Page query params. Okay, let's just see if that works. Hold on. Yeah, I don't need to define it. It's already defined. Okay. Now, I think I closed it. I have to open it again. No, it's still open. Oh, here it is. Let me bring it up. There we go. Oh, there we go. Well, no. There's the whole URL. Okay, let's go. Let's actually add some query parameters to it. And y equals 2. Oops. Okay, now let's see if it finds those. Yeah, there we go. Now, this is the URL on the left, and then on the right is the query parameters as one big string. So I wonder if you can... Okay, yeah, you can. You can say params.get. You can get a specific one, but I don't want to get one. I want like a list. I guess I would have to parse that part myself. Entries, there we go. Entries. Okay, so I can say URL params.forEach. Okay. Yes, please, that's what I want. That is what I want. Oh, I have to... Well, I guess it already returns. That's the class type that it's already returning, so... what I want to do here is page query params for each. And then output them, what, in like a list or something? Key value. And this is going to be how do I want to do this? The full link, and then I want the param list. That's what I want. And then I'm going to say param list equals... Yeah, this is actually getting kind of ugly, and I'm starting to think that something like React at about this point would start to be kind of nice. And so this is going to be param list plus equals that. And, you know, we don't even need this extra function anymore, do we? We can do that, and then we can even just say for each right on that and keep it a bit simpler. And then we just add the param list inside an unordered list. Okay, so now if we go load it again, it breaks. Okay. Now, what did I break? I think maybe it's... I hate these callback... These callback problems can be really annoying sometimes. Okay, so let's do the about debugging, debug, and figure out what's going on here. Error, URL's not defined. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense because we just ripped out that whole thing there. So is that it? No, process page.js still has a... Oh, there it is. That's where the last reference is. And we'll basically repeat that down here. So maybe I will end up making it a function so I don't repeat myself. But yeah, there we go. So now you can see the URL and you've got the query parameters kind of broken out into a nice list. So it's a little bit more visible. But then you still have the whole URL for reference. So that could be cool. The last thing I want to do is make it actually look at all of the links on the page and not just the current page URL. So here, now let's see. I only want it to show if the param list is not empty. Okay, so what we can do then is check if the param list is empty. Okay, that can go away. This is the part that we need to repeat. Okay, so what we need here is something like function get param list from a URL. Pop in the URL here. And then return param list. Just return that whole string. Okay, so then we're going to say var param list equals get param list for the document URI, and then if param list still is just equal to nothing, or rather, I guess we want to say if it's not equal to nothing. If it's not equal to nothing, then we'll go ahead and add it. And then we should be able to just repeat that here. Check for query params on URL while we're here. But it's actually going to be the href. Links I attribute href, and that's the URL that we actually want to check. And if it has any values, then we want to add it to this list. Boom. I think that's it. Oh. Is not a valid URL. Okay. It doesn't like the relative URLs. So how do you catch? Can I do a .catch? Is that like an exception that it throws? So if I do new URL, okay, we'll say var temp URL equals new URL, and then we'll say temp URL dot do all that good stuff. But here, can we say .catch? No, that doesn't see. It's underlining and it says unresolved. JavaScript catch error. I guess there is a try catch. I just need to wrap it in a try catch. Okay. So we're gonna try that, and if it fails, we're gonna catch the error and not do anything with it. Honestly, I mean, we could throw it. We could print out the message, but it's not formally an error. Temp URL not defined. Because it's kind of expected that once in a while things won't work. Or there will be a relative URL. Let me see. Null. Can I do that? Temp URL is null. Oh, I guess if there's a catch, then... If there's... Is it bad practice to return? Is it bad practice to return in a catch? I could just put it right here as a default, so we'll say catch and do nothing, sometimes expected, when URLs are only relative. Although I suppose the proper thing to do, if they are relative, is to attach them to your current page. So, because yeah, we actually do want to parse them, even relative URLs. We actually want. So we will handle the exception for the relative ones, and if there's legitimately an error even after that, we'll say there was an error parsing a URL, and we will actually put that out, and we'll say plus the URL plus the error. So here we'll say if URL equals slash URL equals the base plus URL. And so in this case, if it fails here too, like let's say the URL is completely empty and there's no index at all, then it will fall into the catch, which should be okay. And then we'll end up returning null, which will be all good. So how do we determine the base URL? That's going to be the document. Okay, var page URL equals new URL on the page document, and then from there we should be able to say dot schema plus colon slash slash plus page URL dot host plus the rest of the URL. So that should handle relative links, and we don't get any more errors, so that's good. And if we look at the query parameters, we're gonna have to scroll over to the right. But good, now it's handling the relative ones okay, the full ones okay, and we can see we've got all of our query parameters. Look at those. Those are all prime values for potential SQL injection, file inclusion, URL redirects, and it looks like a lot of them are just like Google links, at least on this page. But you can see, oh, there's some that look kind of interesting. Oh, what else? Indirect object references, IDORs. There's all kinds of good bugs that you can find just by finding a good query parameter and exploiting it and playing with it. Yeah, so cool. We've actually got something started. Now, one thing I think the next step that I would probably do here is have this pop open into a whole tab. I don't like it showing up in this little window and having to deal with it like this. I would rather have it just pop open a whole tab to itself and then let me look around. And what we can do in that case is actually go back and add these context menus Yeah, so in this case, we can trigger. Interesting. Oh, I think it wants the 3 equals again. Okay, so with this, we can actually have, if you do right-click, bug bounty process page, and then you can see down here it says right-click context triggered. So that's when we could basically say, open our index.html in a new tab, and then wire it up again to receive the messages from this one. So that would be probably one of my next steps, so that I could just right click and say, okay, process this page, or just click on the button and have it do the same thing, and maybe just have it pop open and have a little button here that says view in full page or view full tab. And also add some arrows indicating that these are open and can be collapsed. And I don't like the way it jumps back and forth. I also don't like the way it makes you scroll really far to the right for certain things. So a lot of that cosmetic stuff is probably what I would do next. Now that we've actually got some useful information being passed back, and you could actually use this to start looking around for things, I want it to actually be more friendly. So I can just pop it open and be like, oh, there's some easy ones, there's some obvious ones, and just make it a little more usable. So as far as the goals for tonight, I knocked out everything I wanted to. We extracted the scripts from the page, and you can see here we've got the scripts, and you can either see the script source or the HTML, depending on whether it was a link off to an external script or whether it was embedded right in the middle. So we've got all our scripts, and then we've got all of the links on the whole page that have any query parameters. And then what else did we do? The links found. So you can see all of the links. Oh, and actually there's supposed to be... Oh, you know what? Yeah, the href is broken. Hold on. The links here are supposed to link... Oops, they're supposed to link their href attributes. What happened there? Let me see, let me try and put a test value. Okay, so links. Interesting. They seem a little broken on this page. Let me try another one. How about this page? Yeah, the links work okay here. I think it might be weird because it was like a Mozilla homepage. It might be like a Firefox homepage or something. Or my code may be broken on that page, I don't know. But there we go, so we got all the links, we got a quick overview of all the links. All the query parameters, in this case there's only a few. Nothing that looks like a redirect, an indirect object reference. Nothing that looks like a file include. Maybe. And nothing particularly looks like SQL injection that stands out with those query parameters. Scripts found. Yeah, I'd go through these if I was doing like a bug bounty program. I'd look pretty thoroughly at what they're including and maybe some fingerprinting. So as far as this goes, we got all our features done. Nice. And so maybe some next features would be popping open a full tab, adding arrows to show collapsible, got it. Okay, and then what else? Maybe adding some fingerprinting so it can at least determine like, hey, is this a Drupal site? Is it a WordPress site? Can I see anything obvious? And then on top of that, you could even start adding like SQL injection testers and things like that. But one step at a time. Right now, it's just a tool to help do things that I would normally do. Normally, if I was looking at a page, I'd look for things like query parameters, I'd look for scripts, I'd look for all that good stuff. And so this is just going to help us look at a page and learn more about a page better, quicker. So in another stream, hopefully I'll add some more features but make it more usable. Actually, the one last thing I want to do is actually push up all these changes so that all you good people... Oh no! Git reset. Didn't git ignore? It didn't have node modules. Oh, I guess there was no need because... Oh no. There was no need before because there were no node modules. It wasn't a node project at all. And it's still not. I didn't use Browserify. And I don't want that package JSON either. Yep, this looks good. Okay, so we're going to say improved features can now list links, scripts, query params. Alright, so now all you good people can go out there and have fun with this. And maybe one of you will be the next one to add a feature. Maybe you can add one of these awesome features. And I'll totally give you a shout out on the stream if you send me a pull request. And speaking of that, actually, I should give out a shout out to somebody actually did send me 2 pull requests on some of the streams I did. So, oh, I could have swore this was the one. Oh, pull request is 0 probably because it's closed. Yeah. So there's 2 contributors now. This was Mr. Diego Cortasa. And where's the commits? So pull request here. So this was from the Nano Life stream. NullPixel's asking if I do bug bounties. No, not really. I mean, professionally, I am an application security person, so I'm involved with application security stuff, but I don't actively do bug bounties out there in the wild. I'd like to start doing them more, which is partially why I'm building this tool. But yeah, so I just want to mention this on the stream where we made a Game of Life implementation using Pygame. Mr. Diego Cortasa here sent me a pull request, and he even gave us some suggestions on better ways to manage the pause so that it doesn't eat up CPU, and a better way to manage the clock ticks. And he also sent another pull request to this PyQt5 Bitcoin price checker we made. And so on this one, there were several improvements on just the threading and how it weighted, and how the thread, the scoping of the thread and all of that. So some excellent things there. If you guys want to get involved and get your feet wet with some programming, I definitely encourage you to try and make a tiny modification, submit a pull request, and even if it's tiny, even if it never makes it in, then at least you understand the process, and maybe we can make something cool. One idea that I've been entertaining lately is doing a badge. So in one of the streams, I looked at how to make PCB boards, how to design PCB electronics and simulate Arduino circuits and things like that. So maybe when we get some more people, we can get some ideas and get a badge going. And I can design the badge and actually print out. I can actually get some of the boards manufactured, and we can have like a challenge badge that we all made together. I think that might be fun. But for now, I'm going to keep working on this bug bounty thing. I don't know what I'm going to stream about tomorrow, but this is all I'm going to do for tonight. And yep, this code now updated a couple minutes ago. This is all good to go. If you guys want to try it out yourself, you're going to need Firefox. And then what you do is you download or clone the repo. And then, well, one, you can just run webx run. But what I'd suggest you do is you go to About, Debugging, in your Firefox. And that pulls you up here. And then you just click Load Temporary Add-on. And then you basically go in and you select the manifest.json inside the directory. And that's all there is to it. Then it's there and it's ready to go. And you can start testing it out. Like, let's test it out right here. GitHub. Let's see what you got. Oh, the scrolling's a little... Oh, maybe not. So there's a couple scripts. There's a bunch of query parameters. Some links found. A bunch of links. Cool. So our bug bounty tool is already starting to feel like a real tool. Alright, well, if you guys have any ideas, suggestions for topics, things you like, you don't like, always looking for feedback. And I appreciate all of you who came out and chatted tonight. It was lots of fun. And I'll go ahead and do my plugs before I sign off for the night. So if you're not already on the Discord, go to devdungeon.com, and on the right side there's a Join Me on Discord. Come hang out on the server and be all up to date. Security with Go, my book, you should buy like 30 or 40 copies of those and hand them out to people. You can check out the blog, we've got lots of tutorials. GitHub.com/devdungeon for all the code, and YouTube.com/devdungeon for all the videos. And we've been doing live streams nightly for a while now, and they've been a lot of fun, and I've been learning a lot, so come check it out. I made some playlists as well to try and organize them a little better, so maybe you can find a playlist that suits your interest. Anyway, that's all for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow.